Did you know that going to bed just 1 hour too late could be stealing your memory, draining your heart, and aging your brain silently? It's not just old age when you wake up exhausted, forget little things, or feel no motivation in the morning. It might be your bedtime, working against your body. In this video, I'll reveal the golden hour for sleep after 70 and why changing when you go to bed could restore your energy, sharpen your mind, and protect your heart. No pills, no fancy gadgets, just one simple shift you can start tonight. Don't ignore this. Missing the right sleep window could mean years of slow decline when healing is still possible. Before we begin, tell me in the comments what time are you watching this and where from, or simply type HOPE if you still believe it's never too late to feel better. If you find this helpful, hit subscribe to catch more simple health tips. Now let's explore what your body's been trying to tell you every night and how to finally listen. You know, I used to think sleep was just about rest, that as long as you closed your eyes for 7 or 8 hours, your body would take care of the rest. But the truth is, it's not just about how long you sleep, it's when. Let's talk about something that many folks over 70 never hear from their doctor, even though it might be one of the simplest ways to protect your memory, your heart, and even your blood sugar. I remember talking with Mr. Harold last year. He's 76 lives alone in Missouri and always prided himself on being sharp. But lately he kept forgetting names, misplaced his keys a few times a week, and just didn't feel clear upstairs, as he put it. He laughed it off at first, saying it was just old age. But deep down he was worried. We looked into everything, his diet, his medications, even his blood pressure. But the biggest red flag, he'd been going to bed at midnight every night for decades. Didn't think it mattered. Here's the thing, once we reach our 70s, our brains go through a major shift. They don't produce sleep hormones like they used to. The natural clock that tells us it's bedtime, it starts ticking earlier. And if we ignore that early wave of sleepiness, say around 8:30 or 9, we miss the window when our brain does its deepest cleaning. That's important because while you sleep, your brain actually washes away waste. One of those waste proteins is called beta amyloid, and research from Harvard shows that too much of it is linked to memory loss and even Alzheimer's. So when Mr. Harold began going to bed just a bit earlier, around 9:30 p.m., everything started to change. Within a few weeks, his thinking felt sharper, his mornings came easier, and he even started reading again. He told me it feels like my brain finally gets to breathe at night. But it's not just memory. The American Heart Association says that sleeping before 10 p.m. helps regulate your heart's rhythm. When you fight your body's natural bedtime, your stress hormone cortisol stays high, and that puts more pressure on your heart, especially overnight. One woman I spoke to, Mrs. Jeanette from Arizona, saw her blood pressure drop 15 points after she adjusted her sleep. Even folks with diabetes see benefits. Sleeping earlier helps insulin work better overnight. For some, that means fewer glucose spikes. One gentleman was able to lower his insulin dose after 3 months with his doctor's support, of course. So here's something simple you can try. Just start winding down by 8:30 p.m. Turn off the bright lights, put on some calming music, or flip through a light book. Let your body do what it naturally wants, rest early, and heal deeper. Because the truth is, you're not just sleeping, you're healing. Every system in your body, your heart, your brain, your blood gets a chance to reset. And that's a beautiful gift you can give yourself, starting tonight. If this part speaks to you or reminds you of someone you love, I'd love to hear from you. Type HOPE in the comments so we know we're in this together. Now let's move on, because the next part might just surprise you even more. The next habit might feel a little surprising because it has nothing to do with what you eat or drink. It's all about when you go to sleep. Now, most people don't think twice about the clock when it comes to bedtime. You feel tired, you head to bed, simple, right? But after age 65, the body starts changing in quiet, subtle ways. And one of the biggest shifts is in your natural sleep rhythm. Your brain starts releasing melatonin. That's the hormone that makes you sleepy much earlier than it used to. So if you feel your eyes getting heavy around 8:30 in the evening, that's not weakness. That's your body telling you kindly and clearly, It's time. I met a gentleman last year, Mr. Ray. He's 73, a retired carpenter from Ohio. Every night Ray would sit in his recliner, yawning through the news, dozing off during Jeopardy, then push himself to stay awake until 11 a.m., just like he always did. But the next morning he'd wake up groggy. He'd drink 2 cups of coffee and still feel sluggish until noon. When I asked him about his bedtime, he laughed and said, "It's just how I've always done it." But I gently explained what the Mayo Clinic found in 2024. Seniors who went to bed between 9 and 10 p.m. had 45% better sleep quality. That's not a small improvement. They woke up fewer times during the night, felt more refreshed in the morning, and even noticed more emotional balance. Ray was curious, so he gave it a try. He turned off the TV by 8:45, dimmed the lights, and got into bed around 9:15. It felt strange at first, but after about a week, he noticed something. He stopped waking up at 3 a.m. He wasn't dragging in the morning anymore, and his afternoon walks, they felt easier again. When we ignore that early wave of sleepiness, we don't just miss rest, we miss the best window for deep healing sleep. That's when the brain does its cleanup work, the heart rate lowers, and your body starts its quiet repair. But when we stay up too late, the body gets confused. The second wind never really comes, and the sleep we get afterward, it's often shallow and broken. That's why so many folks say, "I slept 8 hours, but still woke up tired." So here's something you can try this week. Just notice when you first feel sleepy, really sleepy. Then instead of fighting it, lean in. Start your wind down earlier, lower the lights, put away the phone, and give your mind permission to rest. Even just 30 minutes earlier than usual can make a difference. You don't need a new pill or a fancy machine to sleep better. Sometimes it's about trusting your own body again and listening when it speaks. Because sleep, especially at our age, isn't about shutting down. It's about healing. It's the time when your heart, your mind, and your immune system all take a deep breath and begin to restore. And if tonight your body whispers, "I'm ready," a little earlier than usual, I hope you'll let it rest. If that sounds like something you'd like to try, type the word HOPE in the comments. Let's show the world that it's never too late to feel better, sleep deeper, and wake up with a little more peace. Now, coming up next, I'll share 5 simple bedtime habits that make this shift even easier. Let's keep going. Let me share something simple that changed a few lives, not through medication or surgery, but with a clock and a little willingness to try something new. It starts with a man named Mr. Johnson. He's 70 years old, soft-spoken, and used to teach high school history out in Oregon. He told me one day, "I feel like I'm walking around in a fog. I sleep all night, but I never feel awake." Now that kind of tired, the kind that lingers all day where you can't focus or remember where you put your wallet, that can wear a person down. Especially when you've done all the right things, taken your vitamins, cut back on coffee, even tried those over-the-counter sleep aids. But what we found wasn't about what he was taking, it was about when he was sleeping. Mr. Johnson had been going to bed around 11:30 p.m. for years, thought it was normal. But his body, like so many people over 65, had shifted. His internal clock was asking for rest earlier, but he kept pushing past it. And so his brain never reached that deep sleep he needed to clear out the mental junk that builds up each day. I asked him to try something gentle, go to bed by 9:30 p.m. each night just for 3 weeks. No screens, no snacks, just allow his body to do what it had been asking. When he came back, I barely recognized him. He smiled wide, said, "It's like someone opened a window in my head. I feel awake again." He'd started walking in the mornings again, reading the newspaper instead of skipping straight to the crossword. And most of all, he felt present, like his old self had come home. Then there's Mrs. Williams, 76, bright eyes, big heart. She hadn't slept through the night in over 40 years. She'd tried teas oils, even prescription pills that left her groggy until lunch. When I gently suggested she try sleeping earlier, she sighed. "I've gone to bed at midnight since I was a teenager. I don't think I know how to sleep earlier." But she gave it a shot, and after 3 weeks of 9:30 bedtimes, she walked into my office with tears in her eyes. "I finally sleep," she whispered, "all night, peacefully." And just like that, her anxiety eased. Her memory felt clearer, and she started baking again, something she hadn't done in months. One last story, the Thompsons. Married 52 years. Sweetest couple you'd ever meet. They were both struggling with forgetfulness. Nothing too scary, but enough to make daily life harder. Their daughter noticed it too. They started a simple sleep routine together. No phone after 8, warm light, quiet music, in bed by 9:15. 3 months later, they both reported better focus, clearer heads, and even scored 32% higher on basic memory tests. But beyond the numbers, they laughed more, walked hand in hand again. Their joy came back. That's the power of one small change, letting your body sleep when it's ready. So if you felt foggy, drained, or emotionally flat lately, maybe it's not just aging. Maybe it's your body asking for rest at the right time. You don't have to fix everything overnight. Just try going to bed a little earlier. Give it 3 weeks. See how you feel. And if you've tried something like this, or you're willing to give it a shot, I'd love to hear from you. Type hope in the comments, because that's what this is, a little hope one, quiet evening at a time. Now stay with me next. We'll talk about the tiny nighttime habits that help your body drift into sleep even faster. Now the next thing I want to talk to you about, it's something I don't think most folks over 70 hear enough. Your sleep isn't broken. Your body isn't failing. It's just changing and trying to tell you what it needs. You see, the trouble isn't always that you're not getting enough sleep. In fact, many people your age still manage 7, sometimes even 8 hours a night. But they wake up feeling like they barely slept at all, foggy, tired, a little off. I remember one morning my uncle sat at the kitchen table and said, "I slept all night, but I feel like I've been hit by a truck." He wasn't joking. And the reason for that might surprise you. As we age, especially past 70, the body starts to lose something called deep sleep. That's the kind of sleep that really restores you, clears your head, calms your nerves, and helps your body heal. Experts say we lose up to 40% of that deep sleep by the time we hit our 70s. So even if you're lying in bed for 8 hours, your brain might only be getting 5 hours of real useful rest. That's why you wake up feeling unfinished, like something's still missing. And here's where it gets more interesting. Our internal body clock, the thing that tells us when it's time to wind down, also changes. Your body starts making sleep hormones earlier in the evening. That's why many people feel sleepy around 8:30 or 9 p.m., even if they don't want to admit it. But instead of listening, most of us push through. We flip on the news, we scroll through the phone, we snack. We tell ourselves, it's too early, I'm not a kid, and that's when the trouble starts. You skip over your natural sleep window, the one your body wants to use, and then lie in bed later frustrated, unable to fall into a deep sleep. It's not your fault. You've been running on the same schedule for decades, but your body, it's whispering a new one. I had a neighbor, Miss Clara, who told me she used to fight that early drowsy feeling every night. She'd stay up for her favorite game show and didn't head to bed until nearly midnight, but her sleep was always broken. Once we talked, she tried something new, lights dimmed by 8 in bed before 9:30. Within 2 weeks, she said, "I finally feel rested again." And that's the beauty of it. You don't need a new mattress, a supplement, or a sleep monitor. Just pay attention to when your body starts to slow down in the evening and give it permission to rest. Try it for a few nights, not forever. Just test it. Your body isn't making a mistake. It's adapting, and it's inviting you to do the same. If this speaks to you, or you felt that quiet shift in your evenings too, drop the word hope in the comments. Because maybe tonight hope begins with listening. Now in just a moment, I'll show you a few easy ways to make this change even smoother. So stay with me. Now I want to take a moment to slow things down, because the next part we're about to talk about, it's not just a list of tips. It's a quiet invitation, an invitation to turn sleep into something sacred again. You see, many older folks I know, including my own aunt, bless her, they treat bedtime like an afterthought. The TV's still on, the phone still buzzing, a snack here, a bit of news there, and then straight to bed. But after 70, sleep doesn't come on demand like it used to. It needs to be welcomed. It needs a soft landing. The first habit, and maybe the most important, is to honor your natural sleep window. For most people past 65, that means getting to bed sometime between 9 and 10 p.m., not midnight, not after the late show. But when your body first starts whispering, "I'm ready." My neighbor Helen, she's 72, used to push through that early drowsiness every night. She'd fall asleep on the couch, wake up groggy, and then go to bed at 11. And of course she couldn't sleep. But once she shifted her routine to start winding down around 8:30 and got in bed by 9:15, everything changed. Her mood, her mornings, even her memory. It's like her body said finally, "Thank you." When we ignore that quiet signal to rest, we don't just delay sleep, we delay healing. The brain misses its best chance to restore. Now, the second habit may not be a big surprise, but it's still something folks overlook all the time. Stop caffeine and heavy meals after 6:30 in the evening. Most people know coffee can keep them up. But did you know even a square of chocolate or a cup of green tea at night can sneak in just enough caffeine to disrupt your sleep? And late-night dinners, those heavy stews or big portions of meat, they make your digestive system work overtime when it should be slowing down. My Uncle Paul once told me I sleep fine even after steak at 9, but when he started waking up at 2 a.m., every night restless and uncomfortable, he finally gave it up. Switched to a lighter early dinner, and just like that, the night felt long and restful again. The third habit is simple but powerful. Soften the lights in your home by 8 p.m. or so. Bright lights, especially those bluish overhead bulbs or your phone screen, tell your brain it's daytime. But our ancestors didn't live with ceiling fans and glowing rectangles. They went to bed when the sun went down. Warm amber lighting from a lamp, a salt rock, even a candle gives your brain the message it's safe to relax, safe to let go. And here's something sweet. Miss Lydia, 79, started using just one small lamp with a yellow bulb in the evening. "It feels like I'm back in my childhood home," she said. "It makes me sleepy in the best way." The fourth habit is one of my personal favorites. Give yourself a gentle bedtime ritual. No, you don't need fancy meditation apps or expensive teas. Just something calming, something that's yours. Read a few pages of a light book. Listen to soft piano or nature sounds. Do a few gentle stretches or deep breaths. Think of it as tucking your nervous system in. You're letting the day melt away slowly, kindly. Even 5 or 10 minutes of stillness can ease your body into better rest. And if you've got a little corner by the window or a favorite chair, make it your bedtime space, a little sanctuary where you begin the process of saying goodnight to the day. Now, the last habit, and I know this one's tough, is stepping away from the screen. Not forever, just 30 to 60 minutes before bed. The truth is, your phone or tablet doesn't just keep your mind awake. The light it gives off actually blocks melatonin, that natural sleep hormone your body depends on. One man I spoke with, Mr. Gerald, said he never thought scrolling the news on his phone would keep him up. But once he left his phone in the kitchen overnight, he started falling asleep faster and staying asleep. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need to do all 5 things every night. But even starting with one, like dimming the lights or turning off the screen early, can set you on a new path. Because sleep at this stage in life is no longer just about recharging. It's about healing, about restoring your mind, your heart, and your peace. So tonight, instead of rushing through the evening, try treating bedtime like a gift. Let it be your nightly ritual, a small ceremony of quiet care for your body, for your spirit. And if one of these habits speaks to you, maybe it's the early dinner or soft lighting or putting the phone away, I'd love to know. Type hope in the comments. Let's remind each other that simple changes still matter. Coming up next, I'll share the one mistake most seniors make right before sleep and how to fix it in under 60 seconds. Stay close. Before we say goodnight, I just want to gently remind you of the heart of today's message. Your sleep isn't just a routine, it's a form of healing. And with just a few small changes, like honoring your natural bedtime and creating a peaceful evening rhythm, You can give your body the deep rest it's quietly asking for. If something in this video spoke to you, whether it was a story, a habit, or just a feeling, I'd love to hear it. Go ahead and share your thoughts in the comments or simply type the word hope if you believe, like I do, that it's never too late to feel better. And if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe, tap the bell so you don't miss the next gentle tip, and maybe share this with a friend or loved one who could use a little more peace in their night. Until next time, may your evenings be calm, your sleep be deep, and your mornings greet you with light and strength. Sleep well and take good care.